been doing a few vids in a while. I've been a bit sick. I got a respiratory infection, so yeah, I was not feeling too good for the past few days. But today I'm here to update you on a few things. First off, Trump visited Ohio in the past week. He gave away free water and free cleaning supplies. And then he took out all of the construction crew, like all the people who were helping out to McDonald's. Meanwhile, Pete Buttigieg was saying, I'll go on the right time, So, but then as soon as he heard that Trump was going to Ohio, he immediately booked a plane ticket to Ohio. It really says a lot about his character. He waited like almost 3 weeks or so until he thought he was just right to do so. It's just despicable. Meanwhile, President Biden went to Kiev, Ukraine, and Poland on President's Day. Says a lot about his character too, doesn't it? And then of course the old what's-his-face, the thing that has a beard. I don't know what it is. It has a bald head. Anyways, you'll find out that he stole some luggage back in 2018 that belonged to a clothing designer. And recently she pointed out that those clothes that he was wearing were the similar clothes that she made herself and that she lost in a luggage claim back in 2018. And when told about this, when he was questioned about this, that thing just walked away, smiled, and then left. Which again, what the fuck is that thing? Seriously, what the fuck is that thing? And what does it do? It's just reminds me of Buffalo Bill. Like if any of you have saw The Silence of the Lambs or whatever it's called, you know what I'm talking about, like Buffalo Bill. And somehow that thing is in charge of what, electricity? Yeah, we are shocking news there. But in other news, more train derailments have happened, mostly in Detroit, and that's not good. And Governor Whitlis tried to pay it off with the taxpayer dollars again. She's a bitch. And of course, more recent news. Oh, what's her face? The person in charge of the budget said that we can afford $10 billion more to Ukrainian aid. And my response to that is fuck you. Fuck you deep in your pussy, because for God's sake, we can't even afford eggs nowadays. And she said that it's in our budget to send another $10 billion to Ukraine. For God's sake, I have done the numbers, and we spent more on Ukraine than NASA. The organization that is supposed to help us go to space. We spent almost double the amount of money for Ukraine than we did NASA, something that actually benefits us. So, what is to gain from this Ukrainian war? We have nothing to gain if we win or lose, because if we win, what do we gain? Name one thing in your house right now that says made in Ukraine. I've checked all of the stuff I have. Not one thing says made in Ukraine. Not to mention the fact that when Biden went down there to, pay tribute to the fallen Ukrainian soldiers, he did so much more respectfully for when he was supposed to mourn for the 13 soldiers that were lost because of his blunder in Afghanistan. Which, by the way, there's still people in there probably begging for mercy while being tortured. So he would look at his watch the entire time, wanting to go home during the entire thing. But when it comes to some random soldiers who probably never even died, because for all we know it could just be a photo op, he's like a bloody saint there. It's despicable. And I mentioned the fact that I thought Ukraine was a war zone. So the president of the United States going to an active war zone is okay. When Trump went through the DMZ, the demilitarized zone between North Korea and South Korea, the news made nothing about it. He literally shook hands with Kim Jong-un, and what does the media do? They do nothing. Meanwhile, with Biden, they compare it to like Kennedy and Khrushchev. Like, what the fuck? Or compare it to like Winston Churchill and Stalin, man. Stalin. With the thing in because that's Biden's thing. He always says, "Listen, folks, not a joke. Listen, man." Like, that's his catchphrases. For like an entire sentence, he could use all that in one entire sentence. And apparently he's the great communicator. And old what's-her-face, the press secretary, she said that this is the most diverse... This is the most diverse cabinet in all of American history. So we have a Secretary of Transportation who waits 2 weeks after a major accident, allowing God knows how many chemicals to seep into the soil, into the ground, killing I don't know how many wildlife, probably contaminating the very cells of the humans there. We have an energy director who goes around stealing women's clothing. We have a financial advisor who says it's okay to spend another $10 billion. We have a vice president who never visited the border once, and when she did, it was at the most safest part for like 10 minutes. We have a press secretary who mumbles, stumbles, and doesn't even answer a question, only going off random notes that she has. And we have a president who, by all accounts, has spent more time on vacation or out of country than he has been in the Oval Office. And then to top it all off, we have actual FBI directors doing this and doing that. Not even taking into consideration that there was piles of classified documents found in Biden's homes. But what does Merrick Garland do? He does nothing, really. He waited a long time to even do anything at all. And he let Biden's lawyers check. That would be like if Hitler let the Gestapo check to see if they were doing anything to hurt the Jews. It's just stupid. Or like if Stalin asked the KGB to see if they were a violation of human rights. Of course they're not going to say anything bad because, the 10%, man, from Hunter, he's a smart boy, he's a smart boy, man, he's a smart man, I know. Now, where's my 10%? Like, seriously, the in their back pocket. And of course, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Eggplants around the nation have been blowing up. There was a tanker in Arizona full of acid or something like that exploding. And recently, like last week, there was a plant nursery in Florida that just burst into flames. It's terrible. It's just terrible. And no one is reporting it because, it's all about Trump. It's all about Trump. CNN, NBC, NBC. They would do anything to just tell lies rather than just admit the truth because it's not good for ratings if it means that it has something to do with Bill Gates or the DOJ or the FBI because, again, bad pocket. And in other news, in California, they're having a little snowstorm there. In fact, here the snowstorm has got even worse. That's why I'm still sick. Because of my respiratory infection, the wind made things even worse for my throat, so I spent a few days home trying to recuperate from that. But, so yeah, global warming. Well, what a joke, man. I'm being serious here. In California, from what I heard, they're having a major snowstorm, and some other areas around the United States are dealing with major snowstorms. So yeah, global warming is a bad thing, man. Like corn poppers, fruity peppers. But no, all of this is just utter bullshit. But I do have some good news. Susan Wapatabilis resigning from YouTube. That means, she's no longer in charge of things. So those people who don't know what that means, because, there's some people who don't know what anything means because they only have a PhD in ABCs. Thanks a lot, college. But no, seriously, Susan Wapatabilis is now gone from YouTube, but that might be a good thing or a bad thing. First off, that means all of this YouTube kid-friendly stuff might go, but then again, the new person in charge, man or woman, because diversity, could be even worse than her. But between you and me, I could run YouTube better than Susan Wapatabala. I could do it much better than Mrs. Wapisipilis. For one major reason, I'm not all about control. She was all about control, doing this, doing that, controlling the moderators and shit like that. She constantly tried to punish YouTubers like me and other people for swearing, saying that you cannot swear in the first 15 seconds of your videos, and then saying that they had to be made for kid-friendly, but then they're saying that they can't be kid-friendly. And then they're saying that you can't do this, you can't do that. Making it much harder for people to make money off their videos or to monetize them, which is the same thing. Vanos Damien, he was suffering from that too. In most of his recent videos, he had to censor, blur, or anything that was considered risque. And it just made things so boring and so petty and so childish. So yes, I could run YouTube better. Simple. I'm not much of a business person. I'm more of a human. I can run it better because, unlike Mrs. Wappington, I actually have a heart. And, I still have some years to go before I become part of the House of Representatives or even qualified to do so. But I know I could still run YouTube better. Simple. I have three ways I could make YouTube greater than. Freedom, and more freedom. Because that's what YouTube is all about. Free content, but with good quality. And of course, the freedom to make whatever you want without, demonetization, the spamming of the report button and shit like that. Not to mention the fact that half the time, if you wanted your video back up because of false, reports, instead of talking to a person, you had a generic, bot giving you bland, generic answers. If I was in charge of YouTube, I would have a whole team, probably doubling the amount of help and service, or whatever it's called, the people who are supposed to help YouTubers get their shit back up. And I would also not censor, people like that. I would not try to censor Democrats or Republicans. YouTube shouldn't really be a right-wing or left-wing thing like Twitter. It should be somewhat of the Times Square, only for videos and content creators to make whatever they want. without constantly having old Susan Whippetopolis over their heads, observing them. So yes, we still have a long ways to go until next week. It's probably gonna be worse or better, but hopefully I will get better soon. This video has been hard for me to say, so I got off track most of the time because I'm not getting off track. So hopefully next week I will have more of a stable, hold up. More of a stable guideline, stuff like that.